Hi everyone, my name is Jeanette Ramos and I'm the founder and CEO of It Takes a Village Housing. It Takes a Village Housing is a nonprofit organization geared towards helping mothers get the services that they need to raise their children. It's going to provide not only drug treatment services for our mothers, but mentors for our children, home economics for our mothers. This is going to be a one-stop shop that's going to provide for our families. Drugs and alcohol seem to be a big part of our society, and how we eradicate that will be based upon what we do for this population. We're always looking for donations. Help us out with those donations. Anything that you can give would be a great help. We're always looking for beds, we're looking for toiletries, we're looking for money, and anything that you can provide us would be of great help. So if you're willing to provide this population with a second chance at life, check out my website at ittakesavillage1.org, or you can email me at ittakesavillagem@gmail.com. Here's to It Takes a Village Housing, and I look forward to meeting with each and every one of you.
You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. Today is Wednesday. That means it's supernatural story time. And you guys already know I won't be disappointing. We actually have our guest tonight that is coming on is Igor, and he's going to be sharing with you all a fantastic supernatural story time. And we'll call this like a part 2 intermediate type of situation. If this is your first time watching Divine Encounters, thank you so much for being here. Sharing this feed is sharing a message of inspiration, of hope, of understanding. So thank you for that. And we're going to be bringing on our guests of this evening just in a moment. But first, letting you guys know, obviously, from this background, I am not in Philadelphia right now. I am currently traveling, and I am in North Carolina at Mandala Springs. Mandala Springs is actually sponsoring us this summer. So I'm super excited to be here and be part of this collective and this permaculture society that's being developed here as well. And we'll be talking more about that actually next week when we bring on Rob LaFosse on the show, and he'll be talking to you guys all about that. So I'm super excited to bring that on for you guys today. Give me 1 second here. Boom. Just want to bring that up. All right. So let's bring on our guest for this evening and throw up those thumbs, throw up those hearts, share this wherever you're watching this at home. And let's bring on our guest. Hey, Igor, how are you today?
Hello, Dominique. Always a pleasure to be here. Bring some joy.
You were loved so much in your last episode. We had to bring you back, of course. And that episode just exploded all over TikTok, it sounds like. And everybody had many more questions to ask you. But of course, we're going to be diving into our supernatural story time with you. And you have plenty of them. And you know I like to start off every single episode with what we call the good news. And so before we jump into that, make sure everyone has their high quality H2O, because this is not a passive viewing experience. This is one where your energy will be shifting. And cheers to your health, wealth, and prosperity. And that's extra good for me because someone outside brought me this flower that I ate most of it of. And so they said you're just supposed to eat the flower. So I've just been eating random things from the forest today. I don't know. This is life now, I guess. All right. So let's see what the messages of the day. Into that, I say, what's good? All right. So the collective card today is the Star card. Very beautiful from the Muse deck. And the key words for this are renewed hope, expectations, positivity, dreams, rewards, divine timing, seeing the beauty in the situation, optimistically collected. And here is the message for this card. The star muse hears her name being called across the cosmos, and she tries to hear the beckoning optimism for those who allow her energy in and to settle in their hearts. One foot in the water and one on land, she is able to draw on the power of the sea and the stars and uses them to nourish dreams. She feeds desires, deep self-discoveries, and bright wishes for a better future. And with light and clarity, she offers you a powerful message of fulfillment and a joyous wink filled with the patience of hopeful expectations. Take a sip from her fountain of faith and believe in your incredible power to reach your goals. Open your heart to let her starlight and sunshine to let it in, knowing that your magic is here for you today and that it brings with it a promise of renewed hope and trust in your ability to shine. And here's the little poem for the day. It says, emerge, sweet light, the starlight calls. Emerge with dream alive and fill your sky with hope enthrall. Bright, wishful trusts arrive. All right, let's bring Igor back on. How are you feeling about this message today?
I love that card. If you've been having dreams lately and they're really vivid, these dreams are not just dreams. You're actually doing the work in the astral plane, the work that you haven't been doing in your physical reality. I myself have been having some deep dreams that are actually unlocking certain aspects of my own self that I've been basically hiding away. So this is a perfect opportunity right now where the stars are aligned for us to do the work in the most effortless way, allow it to do it to the dream state if we cannot access it through our 3D reality.
That's perfect. And for those of you guys watching, I'm looking down because my laptop is what I'm using right now. And so if I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at Igor. And if I'm looking up, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just letting you guys know. But it's interesting about that dream state prompt because I know when I'm working in the astral realm through my dream state, I wake up so tired. And it's like you're working all day and then you go to bed and then you're like working in your sleep realm. And it's just like, oh, I'm tired. So that has happened to me before. Yeah, it has. All right. So we're going to be going into our 1 minute mindful breath. So we're going to be able to elevate our energy. And we're going to be using those prompts that we got from our star card, which was renewed hope and expectations and positivity. That way we can allow ourselves to raise and calibrate ourselves, which I like to do daily. And I find that even taking a moment just to stop whatever we're doing to breathe, it really allows us to recenter ourselves. So take an assessment of where you are at energetically in this moment from 1 to 10, 1 being this is the least amount of energy, 10 being this is the most amount of energy, and let me know where you're at and put that in the comment section below wherever you are at. And for you, Igor, I'm going to give you a second. You're going to think about it and you come back to me and let me know where you're at. Okay, so where are you at right now in this exact moment?
Tell you the truth, for the past few days, I've been energetically like just charged. As you know, in the past few months, there was like a roller coaster of experiences, but the past 3 days been really expanded and energetically. And this is why I want to come on and talk about the celestial energies.
Oh, so what is that in a number way? What does that give us 1 to 10?
I would give it like about a 9.5.
9.5. I like it. All right, let me
Mhm.
know at home if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay, and drop your number there in the comment section below. So we're going to jump right in. You're going to hear the bell, and then we're going to breathe into this experience. So let's do it. All right, eyes closed, 60 seconds on the clock. And we're just going to take a breath in here, breathing in the energy of that star card, allowing renewed hope to fill our cells, fill our body, fill our muscles. And on the exhale, releasing and creating space, giving ourselves permission to surrender, to then breathe in positivity, to breathe in positive dreams, to allow ourselves to bring in rewards into our field, to allow divine timing to happen, and seeing the beauty in our situation and exhaling what no longer serves us. And just notice where that falls into your body and let everything else go in that moment, softening the entire body, bringing gratitude to your heart, gratitude to this present moment, to the here and the now. One final breath in, and letting that go and coming back into center to here and now. You can gently open your eyes and come back in. Okay, Igor, how are you feeling after that 1 minute recalibration moment?
I was gone for a little second there. That gave me that other half.
Now you're up to 10.
Yeah.
I love it. I would say we've had a lot of long days these last few days. We've been doing a lot of live streaming and creating a broadcast studio and a lot of meetings and energy work. So I feel grounded, but I also feel a little tired. So I'm like at an 8 right now. So that's where I'm going to be. I'm sure that will shift through the rest of the episode. All right. So we're going to be jumping into our supernatural story time with Igor. I'm sure he's prepared to share a story now about the celestial self. So let's just jump in. All right, Igor. So before we jump into any story, can you please explain what the celestial self is? What is the celestial self?
So we have many layers of our energy selves, and we're always working from the root chakra and going upwards through the crown and beyond. Many times, instead of just going upwards, the celestial energies, you bring it from above down. So the celestial energies is the higher realms of your own self, which is the I am presence, the soul, the oversoul. And when we refer to those, we can refer to them in a chakra system or the centers. These centers are beyond the 7 chakra systems. They go up to 12 chakra system and actually beyond. And now is the time in this earth where we're stepping into activating our 12 chakra systems and going actually beyond that. So when I talk about the celestial self, these chakra systems are actually beyond the 13th chakra. Okay. In those realms where is a divine mind exists, this is where your effortlessness, so the oneness, the heart-centeredness, where there is no trying to do it, it just is. And by bringing those energies down, instead of reaching upwards to them, we actually allow those energies to integrate into our physical body and transform, transmute all the cellular structure within our physical body instead of working it and doing it. Because a lot of times what we do, we are sitting and we're trying to do the work. Feel the first chakra, second, and keep going and keep going. From the higher realms, there is no doing, it's just being. So when we sit in meditation, we can start bringing in those higher energies down, and the rest, it will do the work to transmute yourself, to transmute these energies around you and raise the vibration of your cellular structure, of your DNA, and your electromagnetic field. So the celestial energies are the heavenly realms. When we talk about these angelic aspect of ourselves, when we are referring to them, because the words we have to express ourselves in words, but these are things that we can feel. This is the moment when you come into your heart space and you feel the aha moment. And in during that moment of bringing these energies down, you're reprogramming your templates of beliefs, you're reprogramming your emotional state, your etheric, and your physical. Now, there are many practices of this. One of the practices that I really enjoy is actually just bringing those energy downwards through the centers, through the crown, through each chakra. So you're going backwards, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and grounding them. Now we're bringing what we refer as to bringing heaven to earth, right? So as above, so below. This practice for me started very rapidly in 2004. Through that practice, I was not aware of what's going on. I was just naturally doing it. Through that practice, I started to connect to other celestial selves. So when I talk about other celestial selves, I'm talking about my other existences of extraterrestrial experiences. These extraterrestrial experiences could have been the Palladians, the Arcturians, the Syrians, the Andromedans, the Draconians, even. You connect to the whole galactical universal system. Through that system, you can choose the qualities that you want to experience here on earth and allow that download of energies to come through your crown.
So
Now,
are you saying
before,
that we all have this? Are you saying that we all have this separate self, this galactic self? So are you saying that we're all aliens? Is that what we're getting at with this?
well, we are all of that and more,
Mm.
because let's explain something. I love to have this here always. You have a toroid field, right? This toroid field is what you truly are. Within this toroid field, you access all dimensions of the universe. So you're not really leaving anywhere. You are within this toroidal field. Within the toroidal field, when it's completely illuminated and open and balanced, you're able to tap into different dimensions of where you're existing, tap into past life, future lives, and your extraterrestrial selves. Now, within the toroidal field, there are energy bodies and chakra systems. These chakra systems is what allows you to connect to your extraterrestrial self. Within each chakra system is a vortex to a different dimension. So when it's perfectly balanced, aware by the being that is trying to flow through it, awareness creates a natural flow. And it all can be done through the heart space, not the mind, because the mind will always find fear. The mind will find some sort of disturbing energy where it'll say, I cannot go there, something could happen. So through
Right.
the heart space, we can connect to them. And when you learn how to trust and you actually dive through these different dimensions, boy, you'll never want to come back here. But the whole purpose for us to be here is to experience what we are feeling in our meditative highest state, is
Sure.
to feel it and experience it in this 3D reality. So yes, you are the ET self, and you are this Palladian and extraterrestrial being. A lot of
And
times there are
and everybody
different.
has access to this. Everybody has the potential to be able to go through these multidimensional channels and experience these other states.
Of course, and I'm sure that many people are experiencing this now, because the planet expanding in its evolution. So is your energy field. So we're just a microcosm of the bigger aspect, right? So the macro and the micro, and we're the micro, and because the macro is happening, the same thing is happening to us. You might be waking up and feeling that you were in a ship. Well, guess what? You were not waking up. You were awake in the dream state through the astral body. We actually be able to tap into it. So when you expand and understand that the astral body is the same thing as being awake,
Mm.
and you're aware of this, you'll be able to tap into it. Now, if you're afraid of it, you will not be able to tap into it, because there are programs within the electromagnetic field that we put ourselves there at the time of birth,
Well,
or the time of
are there
being
actual
coming into the
reasons
world.
anybody should be afraid about doing this experience or having these, allowing themselves to dive deeply into these realms? Is there something that could be harmful to them if they were to try to dive into this, or is it something that should be done with someone like yourself, or a guide, or a teacher?
All right. So me, if somebody tells me don't go there, I will go there. Somebody tells me don't do this, I will do it. So it is all up to each individual, and has to you have to be able to transform everything that you perceive as a negativity into a positive aspect, because otherwise this will eat you alive, meaning this will not allow you to go higher or even experience it, because there are certain fear-based beliefs that you have. This is where your free will comes in. So we have to understand this whole structure of energy, how it operates and how it thinks, instead of our physical mind. Our physical mind is taught through logic. We're not taught this through childhood. If we were taught this through childhood, every single one of us is capable of tapping into these universes. What we think we're going into a different dimension, you're actually exploring your own dimension. And whatever you're scared of, you're actually tapping into your own fears. So this is a great opportunity to transform that and transmute that. Now, obviously, it's great to have somebody supporting you and holding the energy for you, allowing you to kind of have some sort of guidance. Yes, but if you can do it, go ahead. Nothing there can hurt you. It
Nice.
is just an experience where the mind starts to create, and you have to be able to shift things around like a cube's Rube. You have to be able to shift realities, because you have to understand that this is a matrix, and whatever you experience in those dimensions is actually helping you to evolve and expand your energies, so you can connect to them, because they want you to connect to them.
And so let's talk about an experience that you would like to share in which you discovered maybe something that was, well, let's talk about your first time discovering these other dimensions and what
Mhm.
that looked like for yourself.
The first time when this happened, it was very. I would close my eyes and I would start feeling things, because I'm sensitive and I'm clairvoyant, clairsentient, and be able to see and feel everything. I was able to kind of just close my eyes and go up, like I'm coming out of my body. And I was like, whoa, this is interesting. And I started to look down, started to see the world, started to see my body, started to see the traffic, what's going on, continuously going higher and higher and higher, until I started to notice that I'm not already in this planet, I'm going to other planets. And little by little, I started to notice that I'm connecting to these beings. There's somebody here, something is guiding me, something is talking to me. As I started to explore that deeper, I started to understand that they are not here to hurt you. And if you are seeing something fearful, what they say in the spirituality, if you see the devil, ask him to meditate with you.
Hmm.
So we have to be able to be not afraid to see this darkness, because the darkness that you see is a reflection of your own self. You think that you're leaving, but in reality, you're still in your electromagnetic field. You're not going anywhere beyond this, because the universe is within it. So multidimensionalism, what you think it's something out there, it's really within your own field. So the more you explore it, the more you get to crystallize it, and the more you bring it into light, the more your universe gets to expand. So you're actually not healing only yourself, but you are healing this 3D universe as well.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And how much discipline does it take to be able to facilitate a journey like this?
So it is. I'm glad that you tap into that. It's very important to have discipline of yourself, and expression of your body, meaning understanding it, how it works, how it operates. Because this is a vehicle. This is, everybody always says, this is my body. I can do whatever you want. Well, unfortunately, this is your vehicle, and you're supposed to take care of it to the highest vibration that you can. And once you understand that this is not just a body, because all the veins, all the muscles, all the bones, all the tissues have a coding in it. It's the same coding that is within the universe. And when we understand the connection between the physical body and the universe itself, then we start to treat this better, because it's a microcosm of the universe.
Hmm.
And your mind is the director of that energy. Your mind directs where you want to be able to, like, where do you want to travel in these dimensions. Through the heart space is the field that allows you to connect. And the second chakra, or the vital energy, the chi, is what gives you the strength to go up into these dimensions and have the strength to kind of overcome these fears. It is also understanding what's really happening, and not to get carried away. Somebody or something's trying to attack me, and they're going to take my force away, and I'm going to die. I'm going to be trapped here. These are all beliefs of the mind. The higher celestial beings do not have these kind of thoughts. The higher celestial beings control what they think. So let's say you get into a Tesla and you start driving somewhere, right? And Tesla is now connected to your mind. And you say to the Tesla, okay, take me to the grocery store. And all of a sudden you forgot to turn off the stove in the house and you're thinking about it. The Tesla, because it's connected to your mind, it will stop, turn around, and go back home. But you still needed to go to the grocery store, right? So these higher celestial beings, they're so in control of their thoughts that they choose what to think. So when you choose what to think, you'll be able to go into this dimension. So let's say you start thinking of the Syrian constellation. You're thinking about it, and because your focus and strength is so direct, you'll be able to connect to that Syrian constellation and experience yourself in the Syrian lifetime, because you are existing everywhere at all times. It is our
So,
belief that things that I'm not, but because you are existing in the Syrian constellation, you are able to connect to that Syrian lifetime.
so it's not like it's a past life or a future life. It's parallel to what we are living currently.
Yeah, there is no past or future. It is just an expression that we have in this 3D reality. But once we go beyond this 3D and we go to our astral plane, we start to see that there is no past, there is no future. All of them exist at the same time. It is just a linear explanation. So when we say, oh, I'm going to get reincarnated, you're not going to be reincarnated. You already are reincarnated. So this life is for this moment here and now. And once you become this moment here and now, that's when you'll be able to manipulate this energy and say, okay, I choose to experience my past life, which we call it here, but it's happening at the same time, or a parallel reality where you are the same being, but living in a different family maybe, or experiencing a different job, or doing something differently, right? You can alter them because you have such great focus and divine desire to elevate yourself in all dimensions to your celestial self. And once you start bringing all those aspects to your celestial self, your manifestations is no longer these rules and laws that we say, oh, I'm going to manifest something. No, it happens instantaneously because you're jumping into the timeline where you already exist in that form that you want to experience, because you're no longer desiring from your mind, you're desiring from the celestial mindset. And the celestial mindset says, because you're vibrating at this, here's an image that you want to experience. And once you experience that image, it happens right away in this 3D reality. The connection between the higher thought process and the heart, there's a filter. It is this mind. And once we remove this filter, everything happens right away, because this filter also has free will, and it sees everything that's going on in other people's lives and says, oh, I want this too, but it's not for you. You got to let it go, because you got something greater coming. And once you let it go, it's like, oh, wow. But there is actually more to that. And the celestial realms is not only being aware of the body, it's being aware of your electromagnetic field, feeling these dimensions, feeling this energy flow, and understanding how it operates. And now you're becoming the master of the universe, your universe, not anybody else's, because you can only master your universe. And once you do that, now you're in the moment where you can create anything that you desire. But your desires, again, are not coming from you anymore. They're coming from the higher self.
Okay. So when we are in this physical plane and something is happening to us, maybe that is undesirable, maybe we get an illness or a disease, or there's a particular difficult challenge that we're being met with. Talk a little bit about how that is being reflected in those other dimensions.
Okay. So I'll give a couple. I used to have major severe allergies. Like at this time, I would not come out of the house, like severe allergies. And I started to go into it and started to feel my body. Where is it that I'm having stagnant energy? As I started to scan my brain, I started to notice it was in the back of my head. Why? Because my desire to have something was so strong that was forcing things to happen instead of allowing things to happen. So that was for me. And once I understood that and I shifted that belief system, the nervous system opened up. I healed my allergies, but it wasn't the intention to heal the allergies. It was the intention to release that mental pattern that I had. And with that, my allergies healed. There was another time where I started to work on business and I wanted to expand my business. And I wasn't able to expand it because I started to notice in another dimension of reality. I was a farm owner in the 17th century where had many, you can say, workers, and I did not want to set them free.
Mm.
And when I traveled to that dimension and I asked him to release them, he said, "No, I'm not." He refused. So when I talk about this stuff, we have to understand this is like going into hypnosis yourself into this astral plane, and you communicate with yourself in the other dimension because it's another aspect of you. And you ask him to release these people. He says, "No, because this is the way I exist." So you have to find an approach how to convince him to give freedom. And once he did that, I started to flourish in this lifetime financially. My business took
Mm.
off because he was pulling in all the energy from the soul level to create on in his reality. And by his belief, there was no right or wrong. It was a knowing that he needed to do this, and that was it. So when I tapped into that reality, once I let it go, my whole body opened up, like my spinal cord, everything opened up. And once it did that, everything I started to do here, it started to float.
Mm.
So how do I explain this a little bit better? Let's say this is your soul, right? Your past life, your future life, your ET self, multidimensional self, whatever. They're all sharing one soul, but the soul says, "I want to experience all these lives." The soul doesn't judge, it just has an experience. And one of the aspects or characteristic in another lifetime is very powerful and very focused on finance and becoming very wealthy. So now all that energy starts to go there. So you go up to the soul level and you shift that energy to spread it equally amongst all your dimensions and realities, not just for yourself. It has to be all done with balance, with love, with compassion for all, because all of them are you. It is that now, from that moment, understanding, we start to understand you are me and I am you, and we're all one. So we have to kind of learn how to share, and the celestial aspect of the thought process, that is what it is the understanding of oneness, of purity, of giving and receiving in a balance without harming one another.
So, what is a way or like action steps that somebody at home could take if they're having allergies and they want to figure out, okay, how I heard Igor healed his allergies by going into this other dimension. How could I do that for myself?
Okay, so every single person can do this. This is meditation. Now the other thing, I also do hypnosis, like hypno meditation, you can say, or where we go into different dimensions. These are very powerful as well. But what you can do to yourself is get yourself into this state of where you are floating, and be aware and conscious of your body. Where is the stagnancy in the body? Where is the energy not flowing? Because once you identify it in the physical body, then you can start to identify it in your electromagnetic field. And then once you understand these both two, the connection between these two realms and uniting them, your energy starts to open up and the healing process takes place. What we call healing process is just electrical waves start to go through your nervous system.
Hmm. Wow, that's a lot of information that you're giving us there, Igor, and I'm hoping that's benefiting somebody out there that's watching this right now. So, how do you feel like this is learning these techniques? What kind of benefits do you feel like overall? What improvements in your life has it made for you?
Meditation is the greatest tool for your mind. As the gym works the muscles, meditation works the brain. It is the gym for the brain, and I feel like it's very important to create that discipline in the mind. Otherwise, the mind can take us all over the world, all over the universe, and we'll never be in this moment because it will always take you somewhere, wanting something, needed something, except being in the present moment. The present moment is actually being with yourself. When I say being with yourself, I think the greatest meditations that Buddha came up with was scanning the body. And once you start to understand how to scan the body, you're actually bringing the energy back to your body. You're bringing awareness back to yourself, back to your universe, so this universe can flourish and expand in light. We are always meditating and trying to go somewhere or do something. Um, First, come back to yourself, learn yourself, understand yourself, love yourself, appreciate yourself. And with that, okay, this is when the expansion of consciousness or expansion into consciousness takes place, because now you're being aware of where the consciousness is emanating from, because it all
Mm.
begins from our heart. And I think this is the biggest understanding, that is the most important part of everything. Before we even start to manifest, before we want to anything, first you should have a desire to be with your source, with your God, with your higher self, with your celestial self. That is the main desire we should have in life. And then everything else will come naturally, because now through the source, you'll be able to come into this reality and create whatever that you desire, because whatever you desire is no longer coming from you.
Right. I understand. You're freezing a little bit, but that's all right. So I really like this aspect of everything that you desire is actually coming from you. So it's saying my life, my doing, my energy, my creativity, all the things I want and all the things that challenge me, they're all my doing. There's something that I've imprinted in myself. So what do you say to those people who are probably at home thinking, well, I didn't choose to be poor, or I didn't choose to have this sickness, or I didn't choose to have this particular set of reality. What would you say to that?
If you keep saying I didn't choose this, then you cannot do nothing about it. See, this right now, this is the thing that we need to understand. This moment, wherever you are, own it. Because if you don't own it, you cannot change it. If I give you a plate, you can eat off of it. If it's somebody else's plate, you cannot eat off of it. So once you own it, only then you can change it. So therefore, that allows you to come into your present moment. And from
Mm,
there, appreciation and gratitude where you are, from there you can change the course, because you have accepted this present moment.
I understand.
So
And go ahead.
that is how energy thinks, not how our mind thinks. See, the mind says, but this happened to me, I didn't choose this. You didn't choose it, but your soul did. So there's a lesson in it, and there's a realization in it. And once you realize that, it is accepting that. And now, because you own it, now you have the key to the gate to wherever you want to take it.
And why would this soul choose difficulties? People being murdered, or why would the soul choose famine or war or things of that nature?
See, the thing is that the soul doesn't choose that. The soul looks at it all as an experience. It doesn't have a good or bad. It doesn't have a negative or positive. We have a North Pole and we have a South Pole. So we're living on a planet that has duality. And we'll always have duality as long as the planet has a positive and a negative charge. So the macrocosm and the microcosm is the same thing. We have a negative charge, our root chakra, positive charge, our crown. So as long as we have this, we have to find a balance in all of
Mm,
it. And this is where we're realizing is coming into our heart is the center of it all. And unfortunately, people have free will. Free will is allows them to do whatever they want. But from the soul level, the soul the soul says, okay, this is just an experience. These people are coming in, and even that villain is playing a positive role for us to realize something positive out of this war that's happening. And if you take a look in history, all wars have a positive effect 50 years later in our timeline. Some sort of a
mm,
change, because collectively we chose to go through change through war instead of recognizing it right away and allowing these energies to take place.
mhm.
If we would allow to kind of, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. A perfect example, um, I was supposed to leave a certain location or a certain place, a certain relationship, let's say. I didn't. Because you stayed there, it takes you down, 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 down until you actually run from there. And once you run from there, you breathe and you say, oh my God, I'm coming back to myself. And this is what we need to learn, is how to listen to our intuition. And a lot of times we do this, we don't listen to our intuition, and that's where it takes us into these dark moments, which we call now destruction, because the universe will make sure that you change no matter how. even if you do it, you choose to do it nice way, or it's going to be forced, and then we call it darkness, force, war, and all the other horrible things that happen.
I understand. So let everybody know at home where they can get in contact with you if they want to reach out or work with you.
All right. IgorGalubov.com, or you can go to my Instagram page, also IgorGalubov.com, TikTok page, and alignmentoflight.com as well. And would love to see you guys there. And also, there are, oh, thank you. There are going to be a few retreats that are coming up, as well as workshops that I do every Tuesday. Actually, I have free gatherings online on Zoom, and we are just like a support group there. We go through different meditations, and everybody talks about different types of experiences that they have, and we allow the higher channels to channel through these energies so we can have clarity of what's really happening to us, because all the time we have questions. What's happening to me? I'm feeling this, I'm experiencing this, but nobody really has clarity in it. And sometimes when you step out, somebody else has a clear picture for you. So it is really a community where we support one another through these spiritual experiences, where you can find balance and come into our center.
So give me one moment.
That's actually every Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern.
Because we wanted to record music.
Roger that. So thank you for sharing that, Igor. I really appreciate you. And everybody go definitely check out Igor's channel and check out all of his content. He's building here with a lot of great information for you all now. And so I actually have the question of the day here. So we're going to pull that up and let's see what that is. The question of the day. So the question of the day is, how does your own individual expansion affect the global collective?
Affect your global collective? Of course it does. This is the thing where a lot of times we are taught to teach others, but by you being in a certain vibration, you're now becoming the effect. So now that you have expanded your energy, wherever you go, this energy will naturally affect others to come to that higher vibration. So within your own family as well. And that is not something that you need to be able to experience or see or notice right away. It happens on its own naturally. It is the timeless expression of love that naturally floats through all dimensions. And this is where expanding your electromagnetic field allows you to be the effect of others. If this is not flowing properly, you cannot be the effect, you get affected. So this is where the change happens, and we naturally share this love.
Very nice. I love that answer. All right. So is there anything you want to leave with the collective? We have plenty of time, but is there anything else that you felt like you wanted to share today? Was there anything on your mind or in your heart that you felt like you wanted to share today or touch on in this interview?
The most powerful thing is being acceptive of all things around us. Acceptance is love, and love is forgiveness, and understanding things that really happening around us are there to help us. Even if you don't believe that, once you start believing this, it will naturally start to change, because you're sending that into your energy field, you're magnetizing that into your reality, that things will start serving you. And sometimes we have to let go of expectations, because expectations set us up for failure. And the less we have a certain expectation of how things should be, the better it is. And yes, you have an idea of you want to get to a certain goal, hold that vision, but how you get there, you have to leave it up to the source and allow and trust. And with trust, everything starts to unfold. And don't take things too seriously, because this is a matrix.
This is a matrix. How can someone build their trust with the things that they don't see? What if they have just a history, but how can they build trust moving forward?
You mentioned a very powerful thing. They have a history. And because they have a history, in that history, they're holding on, and they're allowing that history to project into the future. See, this is the higher chakra systems. The eighth chakra system is actually holding our intuitive side, but also what is kind of creating that not so clarity of energy to come through is our history. It also holds history energy in there. And once you clear that energy or activate that energy to spiral at a speed of light, that history, you let it go. Within that history, there's programs which go into your DNA, and you basically telling your DNA to vibrate out into your reality of what happened before. If you release the memory, there's no suffering. If there's no memory, there's no pain. There's only pain and suffering is because what we remember. And what we remember is not what it is anymore. What it was during that moment was a beneficial. But at this moment, it is not there anymore. And we're still holding on to it. And because we hold on to it, we create suffering. So we have to learn how to differentiate that and separate these things of where is your mind creating the story and what's really happening. And this is where meditation comes in, is to anchor that energy in, because a lot of times what happens is when we have these kind of things where we have the past that is coming in, we choose to distract ourselves from problems, but yet they're still there and we're waiting until they go away. And sometimes it's not beneficial to wait, because then they will repeat themselves later on in the future. But this is the time where you have to be strong enough and disciplined within your own self to sit. Discipline is the masculine energy. Love and the creativity is the feminine energy. And those two, when they come together, they create a powerful vortex. They create a powerful spiral, the inner spiral within the heart. As they spiral in, they create this implosion moment within the heart space. And this is where the forgiveness comes in, the letting go of the mind and the perceptions and all the past.
Wow. Thank you for that. So we're going to be jumping into the midweek collective energy check-in, but don't go nowhere so we can come back with your final thoughts on the midweek.
Sure.
All right. So our first card is going to be, let's put this up right here, is the Ace of Water. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. So for the collective, there's a lot of movement right now. It is summertime, and this resurgence of a relationship could be a previous relationship. Falling in love could be falling in love with passion, falling in love with ideas, falling in love with self. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship, but it definitely can be a relationship. And this spiritual growth is coming back to center, coming back to self, understanding what we're here to do and getting clarity on that with that enhanced intuition. And for some of you, you may actually be physically moving or just movement in general occurring. And home could be a new home, a new job, just a new place where you feel that you are in a space of belonging. Here we have the Queen of Fire. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself and assert your independence and creativity. So this is a time to take risks, to be bold, to let the world see you, to allow yourself to be seen. And don't underestimate yourself. You're strong. You're much stronger than you give yourself credit for. There are many things that we have had the challenge of overcoming where we may have thought, wait a minute, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to do that? But yet here you are. You are here in this moment still, surviving and pushing through. Our next card of the day is the Wheel. We have Archangel Michael here. A time for positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward and fortune is on your side. This is the number 10 card, which is an ending card, letting you know that the Wheel is basically cycles, seasons, and situations. This is something that we have worked toward completing, and that's why it's a positive change, this particular ending. And we have the Lovers again coming up. So we have quite a lot of love coming in right now. Intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions, and good health. I like this because it says carefully weigh your decisions. The Lovers in general doesn't always mean a positive connection. It can just mean a connection with someone. So that's why it's very important to be pragmatic and to also be discerning of whom we give our energy to and whom we entangled and entwined with. And our last card here for this deck is the Queen of Water. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition and care for yourself and others. So for men, it looks like here for the collective, this is all about love, 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 love. I'm loving it. And with that note, don't relinquish your power. Stay confident. Stay who you are. Allow yourself to recognize that you are here for a reason, and don't let anything hold you back. And finally, we have the Nine of Cups as the conclusion. The Nine of Cups is saying you can have your cake and eat it too, just like Betty White here is having her cheesecake. This is an energy of fulfillment, wishes granted, happiness. These cups overflow with wine, bringing savor, flavor, and fun into our lives. All right, so let's bring on Igor. Okay, Igor, how are you feeling about love, love, and more love?
Love is the only constant. Everything else always changes. The first card that you pulled out was great, relationship, and it comes back to relationship with ourselves.
It was the Ace of Water, falling in love and the resurgence of a relationship.
Yeah, and water is relationship with our emotional self.
Yes, these are the indications of our emotions. And you know what I did like? I like this card. Don't relinquish your power, because I feel like a lot of times, well, I will restate that. I have seen and have experienced in my own lives that we can do that in relationships. You want to just touch on that for like 2 or 3 minutes when we relinquish our power in our relationships, and what are some ways to pull back from that?
This is when we lose ourselves and abandon our own selves in relationships. And I'm sure every single person has done this, is because we believe love is so great, that love is for someone or something. And that allows us to lose ourselves, and we disconnect from our intuitive side. And once we disconnect from our intuitive side, this is when the problems start to occur. Is basically we start to lose energy, we become tired, things are not working out. It's because we're not doing what our higher self or our soul wants us to experience. And this, one of the most important things, is relationship with yourself. And if you are in a relationship with yourself and you're honoring yourself, then the other person will be able to be in their relationship with themselves and honor themselves, and you can come together harmoniously where you can share the joyfulness. Otherwise, it becomes painful, suffering, and holding on. But the universe will separate you either way, because we have went beyond the time of change. And this is why we have time that allows us to change ourselves. And if we don't do it, then we have to let it go. So we have to recognize the lesson, but let go with a harmonious way, in a loving way, because the other person was also suffering. And we have to understand these things from the heart space, because it not one person is always like, I'm better than you and this and that. No, it's both people have their own connection to that idea of a relationship, and they're holding on to. So not always like one is happy and the other one is not. It's two people are always suffering in that. So it takes two to tango. So be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I think closing the doors in a positive way will allow you to open the doors, the new doors, in a positive way. So
that's beautiful.
History repeats itself. Yeah.
History repeats itself. And that's beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing that. Wow. I feel like, all right, there's a lot to take in from this episode. So I guess let's wrap this episode up and give myself my brain to reboot for a moment. And let's wrap this up con mucho amor. Igor, thank you again so much for being here. It's always a blessing to have you. And if you guys have questions for Igor, please leave it in the comment section below, or check out his TikTok. He's always putting content on there to raise your understanding of yourself and where you're headed. All right, so let's do this con mucho amor. Do you or someone you know experience something supernatural that has left a positive impact on yourself or the lives of others? Want to share your story on our show? Please email Divine Encounters at e360tv.com, and together, let's create divine experiences. And now, the Oracle's final thoughts con mucho amor. So, From today's episode, I feel like the way forward, sometimes they think that the way forward is back, but maybe the way forward is up, through, and beyond. Maybe the way forward is it's a circle instead of a line. To be able to let go of our past, maybe it's to go into other dimensions and discover what's happening there and what can I let go of. Maybe the way through is to do something unusual, like finding the farmer, asking what's up, and discovering all these many facets of ourselves, because we are so much bigger and so much greater than what we think we're designed in this moment. And it's wonderful to have perspectives that show us that there's always another way through. And speaking of ways through, make sure you guys go forward and create your own divine experiences and do this so that you can know thyself, love thyself, and remember the divine always has your back. Until Sunday, ciao.
Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels so much, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.